Okay, this Batman cover is really cool. It features one of my favorite rogues, and it has an amazing cover by an artist you might not know about. Let's take a look. Okay, what I have here is Batman 367 from 1984. The artist was Ed Hannigan, and the writer was Doug Mensch. Now, one thing to note is that the interior art was actually done by Don Newton and Alfredo Alcala, but this beautiful cover, which I think is so amazing and is definitely a top tier cover for Batman, was done by Ed Hannigan, who I mentioned at the beginning, and you can see he signed it in the bottom right here, Hannigan. Yeah, so cool. I love the perspective here, and as you can tell, the rogue that this book features is Poison Ivy. One thing I didn't mention in the beginning is that this book goes for about $20 in high grade, and it is a key issue for two reasons. One, Lucius Fox appears as a white man in what appears to be an error by the colorist. And the second is that Poison Ivy appears in an extremely skimpy costume. As you may know, if you're a comic book reader, Poison Ivy's physique has always been something that artists have, what's the best way to put this, shown off in their artwork. Obviously women in comics are depicted a certain way, and obviously that's not always a good thing, but in this issue she does appear in a costume that, especially for the time, this is 1984, was definitely a little controversial. But let's talk about Poison Ivy real quick. Who is Poison Ivy? Poison Ivy, real name Dr. Pamela Isley, is an eco activist, but a very violent one, with the power to control all plant life. But let's talk about her early life. She was born with a skin condition, which was an aversion to the sunlight. Though doctors prescribed her a lotion to protect her, Pamela's abusive father forbade her from going outside at all. Now, that same father would go on to unalive her mother and end up in jail for life. Pamela would go to live with a relative. She eventually would go to college, and in college, she was already creating designer drugs and doling pheromone pills out in order to study their effects. The dean would then secure Pamela an internship with Wayne Enterprises straight out of college at their R&D site just after the merger with Kane Chemical. Now, her origin has been changed a little bit over the years, but I believe her current origin is that she was recruited by a military-funded research doctoral graduate program led by Jason Woodrow, who we know as the Floronic Man. Eventually, Woodrow and Pamela underwent a dangerous experiment that left Pamela comatose, and when she awoke, she was greatly changed. Her blood had become replaced with chlorophyll, her sweat became poison, and she gained pheromonal powers. Poison Ivy is just a really, really cool character. I love her as part of the Birds of Prey and also as kind of a partner of Harley Quinn. And I have to say, I think she's one of my favorite Batman rogues of all time. I mean, Batman has the best rogues gallery in comics. Comment if you disagree with that. She's one of my favorite. And I remember from the Batman movie when I was a kid, and there's some nostalgia there, and this cover is just absolutely awesome. I love Ed Hannigan's artwork. We're going to see more of it in the future on this channel, and for those reasons, this is just a really cool book to have in my collection.